Welcome to this week's Deep Dive. We're going to be going into the world of AI and how it's reshaping business as we know it. And we've got a whole stack of articles that we're going to be looking at, covering everything from massive investments
Mhm.
to some really cool new applications.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time to be following AI. The amount of money being poured into the sector right now is it's a pretty clear indicator that this is not just hype, but a real technological revolution that's happening right now.
Absolutely. And speaking of staying ahead of the curve, if you are looking for a way to kind of keep up to date with all the AI developments, you should definitely check out the Razor report at razor.co. They've got all of the insights and news broken down week by week. But for now, let's just jump right into this week's material. And I think one of the biggest themes that really jumped out at me
Yeah.
was this investment boom in AI. We're talking billions of dollars being poured into AI infrastructure and development.
Yeah. Meta alone is projected to spend up to $65 billion this year. And they're aiming to have their AI platform reach a staggering 1 billion users. So that really highlights just how central they believe AI is going to be to their future.
A billion users,
Yeah.
that's mind-boggling. So what are they actually doing with all that money? I mean, are they just kind of throwing it at anything with AI slapped on the label?
Not quite. Their focus seems to be really on personalizing that user experience, which in turn makes their platforms more attractive to businesses as well. So they're developing a new language model called Llama 4. They're investing heavily in improving advertising targeting, as well as customer engagement tools.
So essentially what they're doing is they're trying to make their platforms more addictive, both for the individual users and for the businesses that rely on them. And it seems that if Meta's projections are right, they're betting that AI is really the key to making that happen.
Exactly, and it's not just Meta. SoftBank is also reportedly considering a massive investment in OpenAI, uh, potentially to the tune of $25 billion. So these huge investments from major players like this, it really shows how much faith there is in AI's potential to transform the way we do business.
It's incredible, but with that much money being thrown around, you kind of have to wonder, is AI only going to be accessible to these massive corporations with deep pockets? What about smaller businesses that might not have billions to spare?
That's a great question, and luckily it seems that accessibility is becoming less of an issue. In fact, another big trend this week is the rise of companies that are making AI more affordable and accessible.
Like who? Give me some names.
Well, there's DeepSeek, for example. They've actually managed to reach the top of the App Store with their AI platform. What's remarkable is that they're offering performance comparable to some of the industry leaders, but at a fraction of the cost.
Okay, now we're talking. Tell me more about DeepSeek. How are they pulling this off?
Well, one factor is efficiency. They've been incredibly smart about how they utilize their resources, but they've also taken a bold step by making their image generation model Janus Pro open source. This means businesses can actually use it for free, even commercially.
Wow, that's a game changer, especially for smaller businesses or startups that might have limited budgets.
Yeah.
Um, it really kind of levels the playing field
Mm-hmm.
and gives them access to these powerful AI tools that were previously out of reach.
Exactly. Imagine being able to create custom visuals for your marketing materials without having to pay recurring licensing fees. That's the kind of power that open source AI can bring to the table.
This feels like a really significant shift. Are there other examples of this move towards open source AI?
Absolutely. Block, the company formerly known as Square, has recently released Goose, which is an open source framework that allows businesses to build their own custom AI assistants.
So we're moving away from this kind of one-size-fits-all AI solution
Yeah.
and moving towards a more personalized approach where businesses can really shape the technology to fit their unique requirements. That's pretty cool.
It is. It's all about empowering businesses to leverage AI in a way that makes sense for them. And we're even seeing this trend extend to the public sector. So, for example, OpenAI has launched ChatGPT Gov, which is a secure platform specifically designed for government agencies. And they're using it for things like streamlining administrative tasks, improving citizen services, and enhancing communication.
That's fascinating. So it sounds like AI is really finding its way into every nook and cranny of how we work,
Yeah.
both in the private and public sectors.
It definitely is. And with this rise of open source AI and these customizable solutions, the possibilities seem almost endless.
It's exciting, but also a little bit daunting. All this talk of AI and its potential impact on everything, it can make your head spin a little.
I hear you. But don't worry, we're here to break it down and make it digestible.
Exactly. And speaking of digesting information, let's move on to another really interesting theme that emerged this week. And that is the future of work and how AI might reshape the job market. I know a lot of people are concerned about AI taking their jobs, but it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Right, while some jobs will inevitably be automated. AI also has the potential to create new opportunities and enhance existing roles.
So it's more of a transformation than a complete takeover.
Precisely. One interesting development that caught my eye was ABC News's landmark agreement with its workforce to protect them from AI-driven layoffs. It's a great example of how organizations can proactively address these concerns and ensure that their employees benefit from AI advancements, rather than being displaced by them.
That's reassuring to hear. So what are some of the ways that AI is actually being used to improve work processes and even create new job opportunities?
Well, let's take a look at the creative industries, for example. We're seeing some really fascinating applications of AI in entertainment, in music production, and in content creation. It's mind-blowing what's possible these days.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about these creative AI applications.
One that really stood out to me was Unitree's robotic dance performance. They had 16 robots performing a synchronized dance routine using advanced 3D laser technology and panoramic depth awareness.
Hold on, 16 robots dancing in sync. That sounds incredible.
It was. And it really highlights how AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in entertainment. Imagine the potential for live performances, theme parks, even cultural exhibitions. AI-powered robots could deliver these consistent high-energy shows without ever getting tired.
It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. But it's actually happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just robots taking the stage. What about music? Is AI infiltrating the music industry too?
Definitely. Platforms like Riffusion's Fuzz are empowering anyone to create original music.
Yeah.
With just a few clicks, you can input text prompts, audio snippets, even images, and the AI will generate a complete song based on your input.
Wait, so you don't even need to be a musician to create your own soundtrack anymore?
Not necessarily. This technology is opening up a world of creative possibilities for anyone who needs custom music, whether you're a content creator, a marketer, or just someone who wants to have some fun experimenting with sounds.
This feels like a real democratization of creativity. But does that also devalue the work of human artists?
That's a valid concern. And it's something that we as a society need to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Yeah. It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Mm.
But it's clear that AI is already having a profound impact on the creative industries, and it's only going to become more integrated in the years to come.
I agree. It's going to be fascinating to see how these industries adapt and evolve as AI continues to advance. But let's move beyond the creative realm for a moment. AI is also transforming how we communicate and access information in our everyday lives.
Like how? Give me an example.
Well, think about Google's new experimental features
Yeah.
that allow AI to handle phone calls with businesses on our behalf. Imagine being able to get pricing information or check availability without even having to pick up the phone yourself,
Oh, wow, that would be a huge time saver.
especially for busy professionals who are constantly bombarded with calls and emails.
Exactly. And these are just a few examples of how AI is being used to streamline these everyday tasks and free up our time for more important things. It's amazing to see how quickly AI is becoming integrated into so many different aspects of our lives, both professionally and personally.
Absolutely. But with all this progress, it's important to remember that AI is still a relatively new technology. And there are a lot of legal and ethical considerations that need to be addressed as it continues to evolve.
Yeah, you're right. We can't just blindly embrace every new AI advancement without thinking about the potential consequences.
Exactly. One area where we're seeing some interesting legal challenges emerge is in the realm of content rights. There's a lot of debate about who owns the rights to AI-generated content and how to ensure that creators are fairly compensated.
I remember reading about a case involving OpenAI and a group of publishers in India. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure, essentially, the publishers are claiming that OpenAI used their copyrighted content without permission to train its AI models. And they're seeking either licensing agreements or the removal of their content from OpenAI's training data.
Wow, that's a pretty significant case.
What?
What do you think the outcome will be?
It's hard to say for sure, but this case could set a precedent for future legal battles involving AI and content ownership. It's definitely something that all businesses, especially those involved in content creation, need to be aware of.
It's a good reminder that the legal and ethical landscape surrounding AI is still very much under construction. And we need to be prepared to adapt as new challenges arise.
I couldn't agree more. But despite these challenges, The future of AI is incredibly bright. We're only scratching the surface of what this technology can do.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It certainly is. And one area that I'm particularly excited about is the emergence of extended reality, or XR. This encompasses virtual reality or augmented reality and mixed reality. And it's creating incredible opportunities for businesses to engage with customers in entirely new ways.
Okay, I've heard a lot of buzz about XR, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around the practical applications. Can you give me some examples?
Of course, imagine a retail store where customers can use augmented reality to try on clothes virtually without ever having to step into a fitting room.
Well, that'd be amazing, especially for someone like me who hates the whole trying on process.
Or think about a manufacturing company that uses virtual reality to train employees on complex equipment without any risk of injury.
Wow, that's impressive. It sounds like XR has the potential to revolutionize industries, from retail to healthcare to education.
Absolutely. And it's all powered by AI. AI algorithms are used to create these realistic 3D environments, track user movements, and personalize the XR experience.
So it's another example of how AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It certainly is. And it's creating exciting new opportunities for businesses to connect with customers, improve efficiency, and drive innovation.
I can't wait to see how XR evolves in the years to come. It feels like we're on the cusp of a major technological shift.
I agree. And as with any new technology, there will be challenges to overcome, but the potential benefits are enormous.
So for businesses that are just starting to explore XR, what advice would you give them?
I'd say it's important to start by identifying the specific business problems that XR can help solve.
Right. It's not about jumping on the bandwagon just because it's the latest trend. It's about finding the right applications for your business.
Exactly. And it's important to partner with experienced XR developers who can help you create these high-quality, engaging experiences.
And don't forget about the importance of user experience.
Absolutely. XR experiences need to be intuitive, immersive, and enjoyable. Otherwise, users will quickly lose interest.
It's all about creating value for the customer.
Precisely. And by doing so, businesses can unlock the incredible potential of XR to transform their operations and enhance customer engagement.
Well said. This has been a fascinating conversation. I'm feeling inspired and a little overwhelmed by all the possibilities.
I understand. The AI landscape is constantly evolving, but that's what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to learn and explore.
And that's what we're here for, to help you navigate the ever-changing world of AI and make sense of the latest developments.
Exactly. We're your trusted guides on this journey, and we're committed to providing you with the insights and analysis you need to succeed.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the one key message you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I'd say it's this. AI is no longer a distant future. It's here, it's powerful, and it has the potential to transform our world in profound ways. The key is to approach it with a balance of curiosity, responsibility, and a willingness to embrace change.
Well said. We need to be both excited and thoughtful about the future of AI, and we need to work together to ensure that it's used for good.
Absolutely. The future is in our hands. Let's make it a bright one.
I love that. A bright future powered by AI. It's a vision worth striving for.
It certainly is. And with that, I think we've reached the end of part 1 of our deep dive.
Time flies when you're having fun exploring the world of AI.
It certainly does. We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the world of AI and its impact on businesses like yours.
Welcome back. We've been exploring this exciting world of AI and its impact on businesses, and we're ready to dive even deeper into the trends shaping this dynamic landscape.
I'm all ears. What else have you uncovered in your research?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is this evolving conversation around AI and content rights. We briefly touched on the OpenAI case in India, but there are other developments worth exploring.
You're right. The case really highlighted how tricky this issue of copyright becomes with AI-generated content. What else is happening in this space?
Well, the United States Copyright Office has recently released guidelines on AI-generated works. This is a big step towards clarifying how copyright applies to content created with the help of AI.
Okay, that's helpful. I'm sure a lot of businesses and creators have been wondering how copyright law applies in this new AI-driven world. So what are some of the key points of these guidelines?
Essentially, the guidelines state that copyright protection only applies to works that are created by a human author. So if a work is solely generated by an AI without any human input, it's not eligible for copyright protection.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if a human artist uses AI as a tool to help them create their work? Where's the line drawn there?
That's the gray area, right? The Copyright Office emphasizes that the human author must have exercised creative control over the work for it to be copyrightable. So using AI to generate ideas or assist with certain aspects of the creation process might be okay. But the human input needs to be substantial and original.
So let's say if I use AI to generate a piece of music, but then I edit it, arrange it, and add my own lyrics and melodies. Would that be considered a human-authored work?
Yeah, that's a good example. In that case, you're likely adding enough of your own creativity and originality to the work to make it eligible for copyright. The key is that you're not just passively accepting AI's output, you're using it as a tool to express your own artistic vision.
Okay, so the human touch is still crucial. That's reassuring to hear. But this whole issue of content rights and AI is definitely going to continue to be a hot topic in the coming years, don't you think?
Absolutely. As AI becomes more sophisticated, we're going to need to have some serious conversations about how to balance innovation with protecting the rights of human creators.
It's a delicate balance for sure. But speaking of innovation, there's another fascinating aspect of the AI landscape that I'm eager to explore, and that is the global race for AI dominance.
Right. It's not just a technological competition, it's a geopolitical one as well. Um, Different countries are approaching AI development and regulation in very different ways.
Yeah, it feels like every country wants to be the leader in AI. Why is that what's at stake?
Well, AI has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of society, from healthcare and education to transportation and defense. The country that leads in AI will have a significant advantage in terms of economic growth, national security, and global influence.
I see. So who are the main players in this global AI race?
Well, the United States and China are often considered the frontrunners, with both countries investing heavily in AI research and development. But other countries like India, the UK, and Canada are also making significant strides.
It sounds like a pretty intense competition. Are there any concerns about this race for AI dominance?
Definitely one concern is that it could lead to a fragmentation of the AI landscape, with different countries developing their own standards and regulations. This could hinder collaboration and slow down the progress of AI development as a whole.
Right, we need global cooperation if we want to unlock the full potential of AI. Are there any efforts being made to promote international collaboration?
Yes, there are several organizations and initiatives focused on fostering global dialogue and cooperation on AI ethics and governance. For example, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, has developed AI principles that have been adopted by many countries.
That's encouraging. It's good to know that there are people working to ensure that AI is developed responsibly and ethically on a global scale.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
crucial that we have these conversations and establish this shared understanding of the ethical implications of AI, regardless of where the technology is being developed.
So it's not just about who wins the race, it's about how we run it.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point, export controls.
Okay, what are export controls?
Essentially, there are regulations that restrict the flow of certain goods or technologies to other countries, often for national security reasons. And with AI becoming such a strategically important technology, we're seeing a lot of discussion about whether and how to implement export controls on AI systems.
I see why that would be a concern. Governments want to make sure that potentially sensitive AI technologies don't fall into the wrong hands.
Right. But there's also a risk that overly restrictive export controls could stifle innovation and hinder collaboration among researchers and businesses in different countries. It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
It sounds like it. Striking the right balance between promoting innovation and protecting national security is going to be crucial.
I agree, and this is where the insights of industry leaders become really valuable. Anthropic's CEO, for example, has been vocal about the need for thoughtful and balanced export controls that don't stifle progress.
Interesting. What's their perspective on this issue?
Well, they argue that overly broad export controls could actually backfire by pushing other countries to develop their own AI capabilities independently, leading to further fragmentation and potentially even less transparency.
That makes sense. It seems like a collaborative approach with open communication and shared ethical frameworks would be a more effective way to address these concerns.
I agree, and it's important to remember that AI is a global technology. The challenges and opportunities it presents are not limited to any one country.
We're all in this together in a way. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a little less serious, AI in education.
Okay, I'm ready for a change of pace. What's happening in the world of AI and education?
Well, there's a lot of talk about the importance of AI literacy, especially for younger generations who will be growing up in a world increasingly shaped by AI.
You're right. It's becoming increasingly clear that understanding the basics of AI, its potential benefits and its limitations, is going to be essential for success in the 21st century.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about everyone becoming a programmer or an AI expert,
Yeah.
right? It's more about having this general awareness of how AI works and its impact on our lives.
Exactly. We need to equip students with the critical thinking skills to evaluate AI-generated information, recognize potential biases, and make informed decisions about how to use AI ethically and responsibly.
So how do we actually go about integrating AI literacy into education?
Yeah.
Are there any specific initiatives or programs that you've come across?
Yes, there are a number of exciting developments happening in this space. Some schools are starting to introduce AI-related courses into their curriculum, while others are integrating AI tools and concepts into existing subjects like math, science, and even the arts.
That's great. So it sounds like there's a lot of experimentation going on right now. What are some of the challenges that educators are facing in implementing these AI literacy programs?
Well, one challenge is the lack of qualified teachers who are comfortable teaching about AI. It's a relatively new field, and many educators don't have the necessary training or experience.
That's a valid point.
Mm.
We need to invest in professional development for teachers so they can effectively integrate AI into their classrooms.
Absolutely. And there's also the challenge of keeping up with the rapid pace of AI advancements. What's cutting edge today might be outdated tomorrow.
Right. That's true for technology in general.
Yeah.
But it feels like AI is evolving at an even faster pace. It's hard to keep up.
It is, but I think the key is to focus on teaching these foundational concepts and critical thinking skills. That will be relevant regardless of the specific AI technologies that emerge in the future.
So it's not about memorizing the latest AI jargon. It's about equipping students with the tools to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing technological landscape.
Exactly. We need to empower students to be lifelong learners, constantly curious and ready to embrace new challenges.
It's an exciting time to be involved in education, that's for sure.
It is, and it's inspiring to see so many educators and innovators working to prepare the next generation for the AI-powered future that lies ahead.
This has been a fascinating exploration of the many facets of AI, from the legal and ethical challenges to the global race for dominance and the transformative potential for education. I'm feeling both energized and a little bit overwhelmed by all the information we've covered.
I understand it's a lot to take in, but the key is to remember that AI is not just a technological phenomenon, it's a human one.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that AI is ultimately a tool that we as humans are creating and shaping. It's up to us to decide how we want to use it and what kind of future we want to build with it.
That's a powerful reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the technical details and the hype, but ultimately it's the human choices that will determine the impact of AI on our world.
I couldn't agree more, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to explore the different perspectives and to work together to ensure that AI is used for good.
Well said. We need to be thoughtful, responsible, and proactive in our approach to AI, and we need to make sure that everyone has a voice in shaping its future.
Absolutely. And with that, I think we've reached the end of part 2 of our deep dive.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun exploring the world of AI. I can't believe we've already covered so much ground.
But we're not done yet. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our discussion and leave you with some key takeaways and resources to continue your AI journey.
Welcome back to the final part of our AI deep dive. It's been quite a journey. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this massive AI world.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a whirlwind tour. But I think we've covered some of the really key points, from those massive investments we talked about to the ethical considerations, and even the mind-blowing potential of extended reality. There's just so much happening in the AI space right now.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, it's hard to keep up.
Right, and that can feel overwhelming for businesses,
Mhm.
especially those that are just starting to explore how to use AI.
So what advice would you give to those businesses?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, stay informed. Make sure you're reading industry publications, attending conferences, following thought leaders in the AI space. That way you can keep up with all the latest developments and trends.
Right, but there's so much information out there. How do you even filter through all the noise and figure out what's actually relevant for your business?
That's a great point. I'd say focus on resources that offer actionable advice. Look for real-world examples and case studies, things that you can learn from and actually apply to your own business.
Okay, so look for the practical stuff, not just the theory.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to reach out to experts and consultants. You know people who can help you navigate this complex world of AI and really find the solutions that are the right fit for your specific needs.
So it's all about building that network of trusted advisors.
Exactly, because remember, AI is not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one business might not work for another. So you got to experiment, you got to find what works best for you.
And don't be afraid to try things out and maybe even make a few mistakes along the way.
Exactly. AI is all about learning and adapting, both for us humans and for the machines.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. AI is this incredible force that's reshaping our world. And we need to approach it with a sense of curiosity and responsibility and a willingness to learn and adapt. So for our listeners who are eager to delve deeper into these topics and stay ahead of the curve, be sure to subscribe to the Razor Report at razor.co. They break down the most important AI news and insights every week, so you can stay informed without getting overwhelmed. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We'll see you next time.